kid. Come on in, take a seat. Welcome. So, today we're going to be conducting your NHL Draft interview. To my left here is the Assistant General Manager, Dan the Man. On my right, you can just refer to him as Dan. On my right is our team's president, Josh. So, just how are you feeling? How are you doing? I know this setting isn't normal, but we can assure you we are very interested in you and what you could bring to our team. So, don't worry about this. This is more of a formality. Not every day you get to pick number 1 overall, and not every day there's a clear-cut choice such as yourself. But I have been given some questions here to ask you about your personality and background. My assistant did this, labeled everything. She is a saint. So, personality and background, okay. Work ethic and character, mental toughness and preparation, goals and motivation, team fit and culture, and some final wrap-up questions, which may or may not be the final questions depending on your answers. So, pretty cut and dry. How are you feeling? That's what I like to hear, kid. Alright, so I've got this older iPad with me, but keeps me on track. You can never get me to upgrade to one of those newer things. I'm not a stats guy, I'm a heart guy. But question number 1 here. Tell me a bit about where you grew up and how did that shape who you are today? And don't mind me, I'll just be typing some of the things, some of your answers. Okay. Oh, no way. I actually have a cousin who lives up there. Do you know a Sarah? You do? Yeah, my last name. Yeah. She actually is a first on my side, so we're actually pretty dang close. We grew up together up there, so it's very cool that you're from there. Is the deli still there? They still got those turkey sandwiches. Nice. Nice. Okay, so how did growing up there shape who you are today? Okay. Yeah, I can see it in your eyes. I can see it. Perfect answer. Let's just type in a... Okay. Alright, question number 2. Who introduced you to hockey and what made you fall in love with it? Was it a friend? Was it EA Sports? Was it YouTube? Okay, yeah. No, that is awesome. And did you get to play when you were young because of that? Or was this a little later? Okay. No, yeah, you've come a long way if you've been playing that long. It's amazing to see players' journeys from when they're kids to when they hit the junior circuit and all the way up to here where they're getting drafted number 1 overall most likely. I can't make any promises, but I can do a little hint, hint, nudge, nudge. What is the first hockey memory you ever had? That's really sweet of them. It's always good when family and friends get involved, especially from the start. So, I've got to ask, did your team win? Ooh. You've got a 50-50 chance for every game that your team wins. Sometimes it goes the right way, sometimes it doesn't. But as long as you had fun. Alright. 2 more questions here in the personality and background. Which NHL players did you look up to as you were a kid or look at? Who do you think your hero is? Your mentor? Okay, Sid. Okay, yeah, that's a good one. Nate. Connor. Yeah. Been hearing a lot of Connor recently. So, do you have any defensemen that you like to model your game after? Or that have inspired your two-way game, 200-foot play? Aaron Ekblad, okay. You do not hear that name every day. So, would you say there is feist in your game because of that? Trust me, kid, I've seen the clips. You play with some spice, some feist. All of the above. Goalie. Flower power. That is a tried and true player. An absolute great guy. I'll have to introduce you to him sometime once you're in the league. Alright, off the ice here. Off ice question. What do you enjoy doing for your R&R, your rest and relaxation? You're just like me. I see so much of my younger self in you, huh? You're like a mini me when it comes to that. Yeah, that is a perfect way to up your hockey IQ. They really look at everything, they look at all the stuff that we do here in the actual NHL, and they take it to a game. They may not do it perfectly, might not be a perfect representation, but it helps you read and react and look at plays and find plays that might be coming up, or just helps your mind. If you use it the right way, that is. Alright, I've got the work ethic and character section here. Dan, how you feeling? Okay, yeah. Fair enough. Alright. How would your teammates describe your work ethic? First in, last out. That is perfect. That is exactly the kind of commitment we are looking for here. We don't play around. We may have the #1 pick this year, but we were lucky enough to get that pick. We jumped up 10 spots to get it if you didn't see the draft lottery. Insane odds. We are absolutely blessed in that fact. So, we are not just a tanking team, we're not a rebuilding team. We are in the current hunt for not only the playoffs, but the Stanley Cup Championship. That's a good question. Our window here that we're looking at is building up for about a year or 2 more, and then we're going to do some serious pressing for high round play. We're looking for finals or better after about a year here. Not from you, of course, there's got to be some playoff experience. If you come out right out of the gate and that's your forte, and you play amazing, that's a good thing for all of us. We're 1 step closer to the cup, and 1 step closer to that rookie contract of yours being up. Here we go. When you face adversity, how do you respond? He's good. He's good. This team is in desperate need of a leader. And that right there proves that you are far and away more mature than your age. We're just lucky that you qualify for this draft. Yeah, being 17 puts you on that edge, but by the time the draft happens, since you'll be 18, we can pick you up. What is something that you've had to work very hard to improve in your game? What's something that's given you a little bit of a challenge? Okay, yeah. We actually do see that quite a bit here. When offensive players are coming in, defense is a little bit of a struggle, especially at the NHL level. When defense comes in, offense is a bit of a struggle. Not for everyone. Cale Makar came in, he was amazing. Quinn Hughes, he was great. But usually it takes a little bit of development, if you know what I mean. But I do appreciate your honesty and commend your bravery for letting us know that. Do you consider yourself more of a leader or a quiet contributor? Okay, so when things get rough, you're the first person to speak. Okay, not every time, but it's perfectly fine. Leaders are not built in a day, just like Rome was not built in a day. You seem to be well on your way, so I'm not even worried about it. And the final question here in work ethic and character is, tell me about a time you put the team first over personal stats. And that won you the championship. Yeah, what was that goal you were showing me the other day? He set it up in the defensive zone, and it touched two more players' sticks, so you didn't get credit for that. But you did an amazing block shot there. There was a fantastic cycle, and you got the puck to the secondary assist on that play. So technically you were the third assist. We don't count those, but I was a very big fan of that play. Now, not all the highlights show you doing the work, but your work is what led to that championship. This next section is mental toughness and preparations. I'm telling you, my assistant giving that girl a raise, this is amazing. How do you prepare mentally before a big game? A little bit of music, okay. Stretching. Pre-game workout, okay. What about before you get to the rink? Good meal, that's good. Good night's sleep, that's very important. And a little NHL, if you have the time. Perfect. You watch any highlights before the games? Fantastic. What does a bad game teach you? So, your film coaches will go over that with you, right? Oh, you do it yourself? Is that before or after the team all meets together for that. Both. Okay. Okay. I like to see that. That's that Kobe Bryant mentality. I like it. Walk me through your off-season training routine. Workouts, diet, R&R, as we were saying. Any of it, all of it. Same as in season. Okay, you take it seriously then. I see that. So, if a special person was introduced to your life, do you think that would change? A little, but you wouldn't let it affect it? Okay. I'm like barely allowed to ask that, but I've seen it happen over my career where player doesn't have a lot of success with girls, then gets to the show and has a million successes, and it ends up just consuming them. But it sounds like you were raised very well, so how do you handle pressure from the fans in the stands to the coach on the bench or in the locker room to your parents, both at home as fans, as coaches, in every role that a parent plays? Yeah. The kid's humble, I'll give him that. So we do like humility here. And that was a very humble answer. So I very much appreciate that. What do we have left here? Last question here in mental toughness and prep. What's one habit that you think gives you an edge over your competition? Your work ethic and character. You got a sense of humor. I like it. It's something that not every player has, and you really need it when things do get tough. It's something a leader possesses to notice when things are a little too serious, to lighten the mood, to get the team off the ground, get them back into the game, Not just in the scoreboard, not on the score sheet at all, just up here. Goals and motivation. What's your biggest hockey dream beyond just getting drafted? The Stanley Cup raised above your head, as many players do. Is it a Game 7 overtime winner, or to you is it a Game 4 sweep 6-0 game? Either way, fantastic. That shows that you're willing to push to win no matter what, whether your back is against the wall or your back is nowhere near the wall. And trust me, that second part is important. Sometimes you see players and teams choke on their own successes and end up losing several games in a row because of that. 5 years from now, where do you see yourself in the NHL? First line. Okay. Captain. Oh, that seems about right. A big boy contract. So, you said a big boy contract. What does that mean to you? Would you be willing to take a team-friendly deal? What? Oh, we can't talk about that right now. I will see you in 3 years for that conversation, once that entry-level contract is up. Why do you think you're ready to take this next step in your journey? Okay. Yeah. There does come a point in every journey where it's just like you're stuck at the level you're at unless you move up a rung. And after seeing your junior stats, I can see that that's the truth. I know stats aren't everything. Goals and assists don't fully show the picture, especially with a 200-foot player like yourself. What does wearing an NHL jersey mean to you? No, like, what is it when you put on that jersey for the first time? Everything. Yeah. Would you ever walk on the logo? Absolutely not right. Perfect answer. That's the exact. There was a right or wrong there, and you got it right. What drives you to keep going on tough days? And this is the last question in this one. Then I believe we get to some more fun questions. But what drives you on a bad day? Okay. And if that was, for some reason, taken out of the equation? Oh. Not everybody has a backup as quick as you do. I like that. I do like that, yeah. We gotta start looking for that in other players. So, now we're in team fit and culture. We can have more fun here. What kind of locker room culture brings out the best in you? Lively music. You said you like listening to music. If it's other people's music, how do you feel about that? Can you still get in your rhythm? Yeah, of course, yeah. Okay. How do you handle conflict or disagreement with teammates? I would hope it's not like a Draymond Green situation where you're throwing hands with a teammate. Okay, yeah. Talking usually is the best. If it really comes down to it, you can talk to management. I'm just saying, if you're the first overall pick for any team, you kind of get that right off the bat. It's one of the perks of being a first overall pick. If we draft you, what can we expect from you, or what can fans expect from you on or off the ice? The best every night. Okay. Off the ice? Yeah, so we can help you get set up with something like that, and we can get you in contact with the right people, or if we draft you, our people can get in contact with them, and we can set you up with some volunteer, we can set you up with some media availability, some podcasters. We can definitely get you out there amongst the fans, answering questions. We'll protect you as much as we can. We'll vet questions from news, media sources, podcasters, stuff like that. With fans, you will have to go through some media training. That is 100% fact. But we're just going to say, do not lose your personality when it comes to that. Don't stop being you just because there's a couple rules on top of things. Promise? What kind of legacy do you want to leave in the league? Is it a personal? Is it milestones? Is it awards? Stanley Cups? Rings with those cups? All of the above. That is exactly what you love to hear out of a first overall pick, I'm just saying. Just saying. Okay. I haven't talked to my colleagues here, but I've got a question for you here. Why should we be the team that takes the chance on you? This is the first overall pick, so it's not a nothing pick. You love the city. That's a great start. The organization. I don't even know why I didn't ask you that sooner. You grew up watching us. You were a fan. All that. I respect that. The fans are gonna love that story. Media is gonna eat this up, guys. Alright. I've got a tough one here, and I'll just set my iPad down for this one. Do you love to win? Or do you hate to lose? That's the exact answer I expect from a first overall pick. Hating to lose. Yeah. Because you're going to take it a lot more personal when we lose. You're going to take it upon yourself. You're going to take responsibility, even if it's not your fault. And we will be there to guide you, because we've seen some kids do crash out taking on that responsibility. But you seem like you can handle it. You seem like you have a good support system. The kid seems like he's ready. Am I wrong? Like, this is an NHL ready player. Alright. So, the draft is coming up in about 2 weeks here. And we like you, kid. We're going to take you number 1 overall. Welcome to the organization.